It does. So 2011, you're brought back as a test role for this. And are you excited to be a part of it, or are you a little trepidatious about it being different?
No. So look, I'm an open book, and I kind of always have been. So I go in just keeping my mouth shut and listening, and but I said a few things that got shut down really quickly, and I was told later, blah blah blah, we don't do that no more, blah blah. You know what I mean? So I caught on. And I don't. Look, I sell if it's personal, but I know there's never personal. They dog me a little bit, whatever. It's all part of the gig. But yeah, I knew all those guys. I knew most of them. Some rules had changed. Some things had not changed. Some things had changed, and they made me think more to get around them. So they asked me to be more creative to get around them. And the example I was going to use was the double feed in a hot tag of a tag match. Used to be both guys can come in and you would just stagger. One guy come in, bump, the next guy's right there, bump, double feed. Well, he outlawed that. And so how do you utilize the other person on the ring? And I spent a lot of time thinking about that. And the Usos implemented a lot of stuff that we talked about, and New Day as well, utilizing that other person. It just made me get more creative. It made us get more creative and go, how can we do this? So he's not allowed to come in the ring. How can we do it? And look, if we had five hours tonight, I would give you an example. You know what I mean? Because I love doing it. It's what I think I love to do. I have no idea what we were talking about.
No, we're right on track, and I'm not even going to hit the button because we're in there.
I'm so jacked.
Was there anyone on the roster at that time that you were excited to work with? And I'll just refresh you as you came back. Zack Ryder, Drew McIntyre, Jack Swagger, Alex Riley, Mason Ryan, Primo, Dolph Ziggler, John Morrison, Beth Phoenix, Eve Torres, Kofi Kingston, Evan Bourne, David Otunga, Michael McGillicuddy, John Cena, Alberto Del Rio, Daniel Bryan, Heath Slater, Tyson Kidd, Brodus Clay, Justin Gabriel, Ezekiel Jackson, AJ Lee, Caitlin Natalia, Tamina, Big Show, Wade Barrett, Sheamus, Christian, Mark Henry, Randy Orton, CM Punk, The Miz, and R-Truth.
Ricky Bobby, trademark. Holy mackerel, yeah. So look, I had worked with everybody I thought, but there was some new guys. Randy Orton was one I had not worked with before, and I was excited about the opportunity to work with him because from the other side of the fence, from the creative standpoint, Randy Orton is who you want on your roster, and you get because you. Holy mackerel, you get to use that legend killer Randy Orton on your television show. And so that was really cool to me. Who I ended up spending the most time around in all actuality was Miro and Lana. I had his whole year. He was undefeated.
So that was a little bit later on the timeline when we come back.
Yeah. This was when I was still producing, though, mostly producing, not so much the writer yet. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So this was a different kind of a job description. But yeah, I got to work with them a lot, and I enjoyed working with them. We kind of have similar mindsets, but I also got kind of pinned early on with all the entertaining stuff. You know what I mean? Like, Mello, whatever the basketball players' names are, that came on the show and did Miz TV. Like, I was producing that.
The balls,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Monty Ball. No, I don't know what to say. Monty Python. But they when they would come in and they would do, Michael Strahan comes in, does a Miz TV. I'm the producer on
Were you, around
I mean?
for Bob Barker, and were you around for the Muppets? Those two would have been incredible to me.
So I was around for the Muppets. I wasn't around. I don't think I was around for Bob Barker. If I was, I just didn't see him or take part in that. But I was around there for the Muppets. Any time we did anything honestly entertaining, it was just like, Brian, you got that? Yes, sir. I got it. And I loved it.
It's great to be in that position. I would think.
It is because it's fun. And so that's what I look like. Hopefully I brought some of that to the screen. And I know I did when I was writing SmackDown.
So let's take it back in the years. So we're still back in time, 2011-ish. When you came walking back in, what was the locker room like at the time that you observed? How was it different? It had been 11 years or so since you were there in the past.
Yeah. I had seen some guys that were there now from TNA and on the indie circuit and all that stuff. So it wasn't like I was in unfamiliar territory, but everything had changed. And also I had changed. You know what I mean? Like I was probably a year maybe a year and a couple months sober at this time, and my life had started to change, and I had started to live my life differently. You know what I mean? Which is kind of how I still try to do it today, and it's very simple. Well, hit the thing now because
and this isn't the sober era.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
just talking general locker room. General locker room vibe and atmosphere.
So there was a big change because I couldn't.
This
do
is
that
the video
anymore.
game era that you're walking back into.
Yes, and look, it was very different. Nobody drank a ton or did drugs. There was a few guys that you knew went out, but they didn't show up drunk or they didn't miss the show, and so. You're not gonna, no blood, no foul. And so it was different, but like I said, I had changed a little bit too. And I also was looking at this from a different perspective. I wasn't in the locker room because that's not where I belonged. I didn't belong fraternizing in there with the younger talent. I belonged producing their matches and maintaining a sense of somewhat of authority. Like I represent the office, so I have to represent the office. You know what I mean?
You being a playful, youthful, jovial guy, is that hard for you to hold on to that?
It was extremely hard. And I got...
Speaking of hard, get the blue chip. No,
just
of kidding.
making hard easy. I want a t-shirt that says make hard easy.
We'll remember
and you can
that.
you can do HRD, make hard, and then easy. You can do this is a whole hashtag.
But now you're actually combining where you get your blue chew with some Hardee's or Carl's Jr. at that part with the
Hey, who doesn't love a good cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger in LA, not too bad of a thing right there.
That's what I call a Friday night or a Sunday morning.
Was there anything you struggled with in the transition of this role, or was it a really quick learning curve for you?
So this sounds braggadocious, and I don't mean it that way, but it just came easy to me. Mm-hmm. And it came easy to me because, look, I believe, and so I'll use this analogy. Arn Anderson came up a generation before me. So the generation before me wasn't talking about camera angles and how should I stand here for you to shoot me on my entrance? When are you going to play my music? They didn't talk about any of that. So I was brought up on the precipice of, I believe, or that's probably screwed that word.
Precipice.
That's what I meant to say.
Precipice.
Thank you. The precipice. You understand? I'm friggin' Mike Tyson over.
I like it. You want to get that bong rip deal. So I used to hear that Arn, after live events, when having to go write in the producer's report, as not being a tech guy who can go type the report, would have to call Carano and verbally recite the report for Carano to type at 11:30 p.m. Friday, Saturdays.
Well, look so that's another thing talking about time differences. Back then, Lanza would call, Jay Strongbow would call and leave a message on a recorder at the studio or at the office and go, everything went well, no injuries. Here's the gate. We're going to the next town. You know what I mean?
7,434 for a gate of 132,876. Last time in the venue, main event was.
Yeah. See, now that's what when you get this producer report, man, you almost got to be stinking. You got to be
good with computers.
Yeah, you have to be good, and so that's why and look, that's invest in the future too with younger guys. That's why now I was that guy like Arn Anderson that they removed and put in younger guys who can do that kind of stuff, and they got the same thing to offer, just not as much experience. You know what I mean?
I love when I see your phone, and not that I see your messages, but when I see something pop up and realize that your screen has 4 words at a time.
Oh yeah,
because the words
the font
are
is so
big.
Huge. The only time my future son-in-law yesterday grabbed my phone, he was like, I want to help you, but I cannot read this font. And I was like, he said, there's literally 2 words on your screen right now. I'm sorry, I'm getting old.
So now you're back in the company.